Egyptian president tells 60 Minutes he collaborates with Israel against ISIS, then begs to kill the broadcast.
Here's a summary of the article.
The Egyptian government asked CBS not to show an interview on 60 Minutes in which President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi confirmed his army collaborates with Israel against ISIS terrorists in the northern Sinai. Scott Pelley asked el-Sisi if this was the closest cooperation ever between his country and Israel, and the president responded, "That is correct. We have a wide range of cooperation with the Israelis," by which he meant that Egypt has been allowing the Israeli Air Force to attack the estimated 1,000 ISIS-affiliated terrorists in the Sinai. El-Sisi, who was then defense minister, ousted democratically elected Muslim Brothers-affiliated President Mohamed Morsi in a coup. El-Sisi was blamed for the 2013 massacre of close to 1,000 Morsi supporters. Pelley asked the new president if he gave the order, and El-Sisi said, "There were thousands of armed people in the sit-in for more than 40 days. We tried every peaceful means to disperse them." Incidentally, El-Sisi's government reported finding only about a dozen guns in the crowd of many thousands of protesters. Now here's a question we can mull over Shabbat. Did el-Sisi really think CBS would bow before his demand to kill the interview, or was that his clever way of making sure every television in America be tuned to CBS on Sunday evening?
This post received a score of 3,078, with an upvote ratio of 95%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Greater than he also admitted to jailing his opponents and the massacre of 1,000 civilians when he was defense minister. I guess that was also a factor. Everyone knew that. But hating Israel and the Jews is basically a cultural value. Inviting Israel to kill Egyptians in Egypt will not sit well.
But Egypt is one of the few countries in the region that acknowledges Israel as a country and has diplomatic ties. For decades now. True. Doesn't mean that the population doesn't have antagonistic feelings about Israel, though. Same in Jordan.
They presumably have antagonistic feelings about ISIS too, though. Most of them anyway.
Well, there is no peace treaty or delicate balance of peace with ISIS. They're just terrorists, so that's a simpler situation, whereas Israel is pretty universally hated in the Arab world, but peace must still be maintained with them without causing revolts, which is difficult. Also, the basic idea of Jews helping to kill Arabs, terrorists or not, doesn't sit well with the population. Arabs are both each other's best friends and worst enemies. It's a fucking mess. Also, they go completely overboard. No sane person should think that people born in Israel and whose only home is that country will just up and leave, and there are Arabs who legit believe that's a possibility.
When it comes to reasons for hate, I don't think Arabs are affected by occupation and civilian deaths the same way the West is. In their world, the morals of war are completely different. How can you hate Israel for killing one protester and support a dictator faction that does this daily? Honor, religion and racism have so much more to do with this. A higher standard of war ethics is often seen as weakness if anything, not advocating against it though. Edit well said about the rest.
In group versus outgroup, I would say. Not that that makes much sense logically, but human psychology often doesn't. But I'm just guessing here. A lot of things humans do often don't make sense.
I agree, here honor plays a big role. But it's important to understand where the real deal comes from and what are mere excuses. I don't believe all the Nazis believed all these blood labels, but they were great excuses to justify a hate already there. I find the Arab world furious about war crimes, occupation very similar. If we want to stop something, we need to know where it really comes from.
It's great that Sisi, who is basically no different than the dictator he replaced, has no power over whether CBS airs the clip. Israel, however, if a national security issue, could have the clip quashed in about 15 seconds. A quick call to Jared and voila, the thing would likely vanish.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.